1974, famous film critic Roger Ebert wrote words that encapsulated Charles Bronson's cinematic demeanor. Bronson doesn't volunteer information, he doesn't explain, and he has no theories about his films. Moreover, he took Time magazine critic J. Cox's negative review as a personal attack and didn't hesitate to intimidate him. Unlike other actors, Bronson projected an aura of violence not only on screen but also in real life. Yet, behind all this armor, there was only one person who could truly see him for who he was: Jill Ireland. Don't forget to subscribe so you won't miss the next video. Charles Bronson's life was filled with a dramatic and emotional story that went far beyond his tough and mysterious on-screen persona. Perhaps the greatest tragedy was that the love story that brought him his deepest happiness also led him to his greatest sorrow. The love he shared with Jill Ireland was far from Hollywood's superficial glamour. It was an example of true devotion, deep friendship, and mutual support. Over the time they spent together, they experienced not only love but also friendship, loyalty, and the beauty of getting to know each other and bringing meaning to their lives. That Bronson could open up so vulnerably was a sign of how special she was to him. So, how did Charles Bronson and Jill Ireland meet? It was the early 1960s, the golden age of Hollywood was ending, and Bronson was still married to Harriet Tendler. The two had met at an acting school in Philadelphia and had become close friends, despite coming from completely different worlds. According to the book Charlie and Me, Tendler was 18 while Bronson was 26. Tendler's father was a highly successful dairy farmer, while Bronson came from a poor family struggling to make ends meet. It was like a fairy tale. Their relationship, which began as a strong friendship, gradually grew into something romantic. During those years, Harriet provided Bronson with both financial and emotional support in his fight to rise in the acting world. However, their relationship began to falter when Bronson accepted a role in John Sturges' The Great Escape. On set, he worked with famous names like Steve McQueen, James Garner, and James Coburn. But his real turning point came when David McCallum brought his wife, Jill Ireland, to the set. It's said that Bronson told McCallum, "I'm going to steal your wife," and he did. Bronson and Tendler separated in 1965, and McCallum and Ireland parted ways in 1967. In 1968, Bronson and Ireland were married. Their marriage marked not only the beginning of a romantic partnership but also a fruitful professional one. The couple lived with their 7 children in a lavish Los Angeles mansion. 2 were Bronson's children from Tendler, 3 were Jill's from her previous marriage, and 2 were children they had together. Bronson used his reputation in the film industry to get Ireland involved in his projects. Together, they worked on more than 16 projects. In films like From Noon Till 3, Ireland symbolized the spirit of the story. In 1984, however, Ireland was diagnosed with breast cancer. She battled the disease for 6 years and recounted her journey in 2 books, Life, Wish, and Lifeline. Her brave fight earned her the Courage Award from the American Cancer Society, presented by Ronald Reagan. Sadly, she passed away in 1990 at their home in Malibu, with Bronson by her side. This loss was a turning point in Bronson's life. To keep her memory alive, he had her ashes placed in a specially made walking stick. For years, Bronson had fought alongside Jill, both on and off screen, and stood by her through her illness. The difficulties Jill faced after her diagnosis deeply affected Bronson but also drove him to love her even more deeply. As Jill's health declined, Bronson prioritized being by her side above all else. During her battle with cancer, Bronson remained close to her, hiding his fears and anxieties so as not to upset or discourage her, maintaining his usual strong and resilient stance for her. This period revealed Bronson's emotional side, which he rarely displayed on screen, as he confronted his fear of losing the person he loved. On August 30, 2003, Bronson passed away at the age of 81. His official cause of death was listed as respiratory failure, metastatic lung cancer, and heart failure. He was buried at Brownsville Cemetery in Vermont, along with the walking stick containing Jill Ireland's ashes. Jill Ireland's death in 1990 left a huge void in Bronson's life. After losing her, Bronson took a long time to recover and felt the loss of the love of his life profoundly. His decision to have a specially crafted walking stick that held her ashes so he could keep her close was a symbol of his devotion and sorrow. This stick constantly reminded him of his undying love for Jill and the impact she had on his life. From then on, Bronson would be remembered not only as a cinema icon but as a man who had experienced a great loss. Bronson admitted that he never experienced the same depth of feeling again after Jill. Although he remarried, he knew that no one could replace Jill's place in his life. Bronson's death marked the final chapter of this deep love story. Wanting to be buried with the walking stick that held his beloved's ashes, Bronson finally found the peace he believed would reunite him with Jill. The complex legacy he left behind, a life filled with love and loss, turned him into an unforgettable icon of cinema. Charles Bronson may not have won many awards in his lifetime, but he was held in great respect by audiences and film critics alike. Fans around the world still remember his iconic presence and what he represented in cinema. Bronson brought his own unique impact to themes of justice, vengeance, and morality in film. It's safe to say that many modern action stars have modeled their careers after his example. His life, courage, and passion will continue to inspire for generations to come. What do you think about this story and relationship? We're waiting for your comments. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe to our channel. See you next time.